Right. And there's something that we men say, and women too, which is this aspect of if I knew then what I know now.
Hmm.
Um, can you speak to that with respect to the doubters and the skeptics and those who truthfully may be in a situation that they feel so overwhelmed and somehow they stumbled upon this work? What would you say to that person?
Do it. It's I've been there. I know that overwhelmed feeling. I know that, you know, that feeling the walls are closing in. I get it. I feel that. And even worse, I can't show anybody this. Like if I show somebody this, it's gonna be, a nightmare in my career. Like people are gonna sense weakness. They're gonna come after me. Like this, all this stuff. My competition is gonna know about it. So, but once you start doing this, and once from a personal relationship, once you're okay, I'm going to let this person see that maybe I have some insecurities around some things, and maybe I don't like when this happens, I don't I feel that here's what I feel, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to worry that is she going to think I'm weak? Is she going to think this? No, it's again, just I keep coming back to the same thing. What do you have to lose? Give it a shot. It's changed me for the better. It's not, it's not that it's not Tony Robbins. It's not, it's not that. I wouldn't respond to something like that. It's not, as I said before, oh, my mom dropped me on my head when I was younger. Like that that's not in my DNA, and that's not what this is. It's giving you the tools to deal with life, or to deal with emotions, and to understand where they're coming from, and understand how to process them, and how to not to bury them, and not to just let that. I think you said to me one time when we first started talking, you're doing really well and you're running really fast, but you've got 5,000 pounds tied to you. Like imagine what you'd be doing if you didn't. And that resonated. And it's something that, yeah, now looking back at that guy and now who I am sitting here, it's a different animal.
Makes a lot of sense. Really powerful. When you talk about this aspect of what do you have to lose, I wanted you to maybe share a few words about, well, what are you going to lose if you don't do something about it? Because, right, you said you can actually give this a try and just have a couple of sessions, or else, right? Speak to what would be those losses.
Yeah, I mean, no way I'd be with the girl I'm with now. No chance. No way I'd be happy in that relationship, secure in that relationship. Kind of looking completely anticipating what's coming next. I mean, saying that now and thinking back, even 8 months ago, like the anticipation was not necessarily a good thing. It is now. I can't go back to that person that try to be the over at times overbearing, 100% overbearing. I just can't. Even with my kids, it's you know letting them speak, letting understanding how to help them without quote unquote helping slash telling them what to do. I would not have the relationship I have with them. Even being able to go back and fix some of my family familiar relationships, like just some of that. It's hard to really envision because it's not an option. I guess is the best way to put it. It's just not an option. From where I was then to now, and I don't want to sound like I was an emotional wreck, but it it's that different of a place. That's all. It's easy. That's all. That's that word that keeps coming back in my head. It's easy. It just becomes easy. You're taking on challenges, experiencing life. I'll say alive, but it's, you know, with 100% of yourself, like just, okay, like I'm bringing everything I got to the table. I'm not handicapped. You know, I'm not holding back. Good. And I know on the other end, you're sitting there going, I don't hold it. You don't even, I can tell you, I'd be the first one to say that, but I wasn't coming to the game with all my tools. That's really what it was.
Ryan, one of the things that people fear most, especially us men, is that going into something like this, because that's the idea they may have, it's going to be psychotherapy, and we're just going to have to go back to the age of like one day old to try to fix you and try to psychoanalyze every single little crap in detail and deconstruct you. Is that really what happens here? Because the premise is very different, and it's about leveraging your power now and working with that onward, and not trying to nitpick you and do stuff like that. Can you speak to that?
No, you only go through that for the first 3 sessions, and then we're good. No, I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. No, it's none of that. I don't think we've ever even remotely got close to something like that. You know, I feel, you do, I do a lot of most of it is me talking, you know, but not like in a, I'm going to say therapy way, but not in a therapy way. It's a conversation. I mean, you and I can have the same conversation we have every week on a golf course, in a locker room, in a, you know, it's maybe the locker room would have a little different character to it, but no, it's just you learn how to express or how to feel. You learn how to, that's the word. You learn how to you learn how you learn how to take to understand why you get these feelings, like where this stuff is coming from, and how to process it and how to move it through. You know, it's definitely not a clinical. I don't have experience with it. I can tell you the 3 times I've done it, I squirmed in my seat for an hour, you know, and I was, the second that thing was done, I was out the door and never thought another thing of it until the next week. I was there because I had to be there. That it was not anything that I wanted to be involved in. And now it's actually interesting, because now after doing this thing there, I was like, oh, you're such a dummy. You were such a dummy back then. Like, you had no idea, and I still couldn't do it. But it's no, if that's your fear, it is unfounded, and that's, I have never ever participated in anything like that other than the marriage thing for three sessions, and I never would. It's just not something that it's not something I would have done, or will probably, maybe now, who knows? But even now, the thought of that kind of pushes me. The feeling of dread is right here. So it still hasn't done that much.
Knowing what you know, when do you think someone should start doing this? Now that they know about what this experience is about, when should they start?
As I think I said it before, I think the one thing we're all good at, because of our nature, is to be analytical, to be a problem solver, to be, you know, the guy in the room with the plan when things are going sideways. But we call it, you know, I would call it intuition. You know, I don't know why I think this way. I don't know what it is, but man, we're gonna do this. Like, and we're gonna go full on. And mostly, you want to call it your gut, you want to call it whatever it is. I can't quantify why I want to do this. And there's times where you're wrong, but the majority of guys, probably most in this community who are successful, are right more than they're not. That same intuition, that same feeling, that same gut, you know it's the right thing to do. You know it is. It's back here, you know, or here. It just, you know it's there, but you kind of push it off. You kind of push it off. You kind of push it off. So what I would say is, if you're having those feelings and you know something's got to change, and it's not just her. It's not just him. It's not, it's part you. You don't want to admit it. You don't want to be vulnerable to that. You don't want to have somebody else kind of, you having to tell somebody that. Yeah, that's not cool. But it's the time. And now it's be the alpha and get it. Be the alpha and get it done. Just get it done. It'll change your life. It'll change your life.
Brian, lastly, what would be the cost of not doing, something like this in your life? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, it'd be the same. I'd be on the same rat race, same, close to burnout. Probably just going through the motions. Yeah, I still think I'd be successful. I in my business life, my personal life would not be. I wouldn't be with the amazing person I'm with now. I don't think I'd have the relationship with my kids or my family that I have now. I would not be as successful at business than what's going on now. The company wouldn't be as successful. And I'd be that guy. I'd be that guy that, still had, still could be triggered. And that's a word I hate, but it is, it's just kind of short fuse, kind of, not really present with anybody. Just, fun to hang out with, fun to be in a setting with, but not really with connection with most people. Very few people I would add a connection to, if any, real connection. And look good on the outside. Everything looked like had it going, put it together, but a mess on the inside. A mess. Burying anything that was a challenge, I'd bury. Eventually, not going to end well. It doesn't. It's why you look at why we die young. It's yeah. It would not have ended well.
Before we conclude, I just want to ask one last aspect of your experience to share, if you may. I made it very clear in the Ally Partner community and in my programs and everything I write and videos I make that the challenges that we are dealing with on a daily basis, which we address here in the Ally Partner community and through our courses, it really change your health. And I, as a physician, I have seen how men are dying early and are contracting diseases that are chronic diseases, whether it's diabetes, high blood pressure, different forms of cancer, whether it's prostate cancer, lung cancer, autoimmune illnesses. And I have seen how a lot of this work really has an impact on so much, which is hard to explain to people unless you have been a patient of something and you have experienced how your health has completely changed or dramatically changed in some regards because of this. There are two areas in your life that you have benefited immensely. You're a very active athlete. And some of the sports that you practice are contact sports. And on top of that, you were managing a medical condition. And because of a lot of this work, and I would say all of its work, really, even that has actually fallen down the wayside to the point of not even having medications and the doctor not understanding what happened and basically wrapping it up by saying, whatever you're doing, just, I don't know, keep at it. Can you speak lastly a little bit about that? Because there may be a lot of skepticism, but clearly there's a lot of evidence and you're not the only person who's really experienced this. And even your endurance in your contact sports and what happens at the gym, it's unparalleled for you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I had some medical condition that I was taking medication for, and I wanted to get off, and I didn't want to be on it. so I made some dietary changes, but nothing super crazy. Kind of just like we all say, I'm just going to eat better, right? And that's what happened. And I got results recently, within the last month or so. And just when Mario said, the doc was floored. I thought I had to up my medication, and I'm like, nope, actually, doc, I hadn't taken it. And he was she was very, very surprised. But she said, okay, let's try it again. So I have another month or so left, but I feel great. From the gym and some of the contact sports and things like that, we all like to say we feel like we're 20, but kind of do. Numbers that I couldn't dream in the gym, say 5 years ago, like back when I was in my 30s. I'm putting up that kind of weight again, and not because I want to, just because it is what it is. It's just, it's definitely made a difference. It's definitely the mental sharpness, my mental. I just have a lot of energy. I bounce out of bed right now, and nothing's really changed. I'm still taking the same supplements I was taking before, taking the same protein, whatever, but nothing else has changed in my diet, and I'm not like exercising more than I have. I'm active. I've always been active. Yeah, it's we've all heard it, right? I mean, how many seminars have we all gone to? Mind, body. They talk about mind and body. It's true. There's something to that. I'm sure if they tested my cortisol levels or my stress levels, they're going to be, way less than they were, say, 8 months ago. So, yeah, look. It was hard for me to fathom that this would make that much of a change, because you said this, you did. You said it would happen, and I was kind of like, being honest now, no way. Like let's slow down. But yeah, it has. It just has, and that's what you said to me when you said that before. What would happen if you change? Go back. Like, that's not even a thought process in my head. Like, there's you will get to a point in this thing, and rapidly, where you're like, okay, there's something going on here. It's that first couple of things that go one way, and you're like, all right, that happened. That happened. It was a coincidence, whatever. Like, so, okay, yeah, whatever. Because I was skeptical in the beginning too. Then something else happens. Like, all right, maybe there's something to this. Like, okay. And then it just keeps happening, whether it's the health results or situations that would spin me up in a work setting. It's no big deal. Maybe it was a big deal, when HR and somebody else comes in your office, it's a big deal, especially if the corporate attorney shows up. But it's, it's you have the ability to understand what's going on, and you don't let those things all come at you. It's not a magic. It's I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I still get angry. I still say dumb stuff. I still, there's things, but I feel it, and I can process it. And that's that for I think people like us. We can't say we're not allowed to be overwhelmed. We're not allowed to be tired. We're not allowed to, feel like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. That's not what we do. You push it down, and you move forward. Right? That's for 49 years, to call it, so whatever. But 30 years since I've been in the workforce. That's what you do. And probably before that, I was a kid, an athlete, like, you're not hurt. Are you hurt, or are you injured? That's the mindset of people like us. And what this does is it allows you to know where that, or feel that, process it, and get it out. So it's not just hanging. Long answer, but I hope it was helpful.
Amazing, amazing answer. I want to thank you so much on behalf of the Life Partner community, Brian, for sharing so candidly, powerfully, honestly, vulnerably, which all translates into incredible personal power. It's evident, it's obvious. You have done the work, you have been committed to this. And I really trust that when people see it, not from me, but from somebody who really has been committed to this and seeing the massive results that are real, honest, they get to give things a try in a different way and hopefully experience just as great of results as you've had, which is not unique to you, but it happens to people in the community. So thank you for your generosity, your vulnerability, your sincerity, and your candor in sharing all of this. It just makes you a super powerful man that you are, to a much higher level than ever. So thanks for your time. And if you're watching this, this is Dr. Mario, founder of AlivePartner.com, and I hope that you've gained some insights, very powerful insights from a community member who has shared very openly and transparently what has happened for him as a byproduct of being committed to his own life and knowing that there is a lot better out there that you can actually try now. Until next time, thank you.